Hello everyone. So today we are going to discuss the most important points in the 11th lesson. So you know what is the 11th lesson you have, that is media in Sri Lanka and the contemporary trends. Okay, so here you need to remember the media trends, right? So those concepts you need to remember. So in the this part you have the how this media was originated, right, and how it growth in Sri Lanka. So here you can see how they use those things in the days in the past days, right? So making hooting sounds and sounds of the drums, right? So those kind of thing they used in the in those era. After that they have this printed media and those kind of thing. You can see some examples also, some publications like Lanka Lokaya, the Observer and the Commercial Advertiser, those kind of thing. And you can see some examples like John De Silva has and his works Sinhala Parabhavanatake, Alakeshwara, Sri Sangabo, Sri Vikrama, so those kind of thing, Natya, right? And you can see other things like Northi music groups and Nadagam theatre chain, and also novel writing, right? So here you can see the first novel, Piyadasa Sirisena, titled Blissful Marriage of Jayatis and Rosli, right? So this is the first one, you can remember that. And Sinhala newspaper, Sinhala Jatiya, and this film, first film, that is Kadavunu Porandu, the Broken Promise. Okay, and you can see some examples for television media also, ITN, Independent Television Network, and the Rupavahini, State Television Corporation. Okay, so these are the two channels you need to remember when we think about nowadays. Also these are the state television channels, no? So there are some other private channels, so these are the two state channels. Okay, so those are the things that you have to remember in the first part. After that you need to remember media trends, right? So here you can see some trends in just like globally trends, right? And also you can see some local trends that we are using as Sri Lankans. Okay, so each of these trends you need to remember what is that, and also what is the purpose, and also some examples. Okay, so let's see. First one, media convergence, that means advent of the electronic media. For example, the meeting point of radio broadcasting and the television and convergence of a particular moment. Now think about media convergence means what? That means because of this new technology we can see all the media in one particular platform. Now think about the example is the telephone. Okay, so you can see smartphones, right? And in there you can see each and everything, right? That means we can read newspapers, we can listen to the radio, we can watch television, all in one, right? So that is media convergence. That means that medium point of radio broadcasting and the television, right? So like that way you can see radio and the internet technology as a single entity in a digital context. Those kind of thing, smart mobile phones, that is the example. Okay, so that is what media convergence, the first trend. Then the second one, that is demassification. That means audience segmentation. We divide segments, the audience, into different segments. Now for example, think about in those days, example is newspapers. Okay, so in those days in one particular newspaper they have included all the things. That means news, right, sports, right, so other information related to children, women, men, and also other films, right? So details of those kind of thing all in one. But nowadays this demassification is there. That means they have divided those themes in a separate way. Now for example, think about, for children there is a separate set of newspapers, for sports separately, for films separately. So that is demassification. So now think about, as children they don't want to buy total newspaper, but that particular part that they need to buy. That means another newspaper is there for children, right? Another newspaper is there for the people who needs to know about sports. So segmentation is there. They have divided the audience, total audience, into separate parts by targeting in order to address a target audience, right? So you can see to one's own special interest, right? So if somebody is like to read news, so then he can read all the news. But if somebody is like for films and those details, so they can buy that newspaper. So that is demassification. You can see, you can remember that one as audience segmentation, right? So these are the examples. Then you have deregulation. So regulation means put in the rules and regulation, but here deregulation means they don't have any rules and regulation. Now you know, in the media also, in mass media like television, in radio, there's no any regulation. No, we cannot regulate even, right? So this is another trend, that is deregulation. Okay. Then consumerism, a process by which a commodity is promoted, right, and the process of social and economic measures by which it is operated. For example, a particular media recipient tends to reject a particular television program. So that is why they are rejecting those things, because of this consumerism. That means they try to select the media contents to fulfill his taste, right? So this is consumerism. They also have become just like promotions, commodities, right? So here consumerism is that. So you can remember these examples, because they also try to they also try to select the contents which suits to their taste, their necessity. Okay, so that is it. Yes. Then you have the next part, that is commodification. That means just interlinked to the concept of commodity, right? That means just like an object, to achieve trade objects via marketplace commodities. So here you can see all the things have become commodities. That means price attachment, right? Not only the things like products and different services, but also art, religion and also medicine. All these things, they also have this price attachment, right? So this is because of this trend, commodification, right? You can remember that example. And the sixth one, commercialization. That means advertising as an industry. Okay, so commercialization. Okay, so in each and every time you can see in the media, in each and every place, this commercialization is working as a trend. Then the seventh one, that is globalization. You know that one. A whole world has become a family because of this new technology. So that is globalization. Okay, yeah, so those are the things we have to talk as the international media trends, right? That means not only our Sri Lanka, but also other countries also try to follow these trends. So what are they? First one, media convergence, then demassification, deregulation, consumerism, commodification, and commercialization and globalization. Okay, yes. So then you have trends in media specific to Sri Lanka. So these are the trends that we have in as a Sri Lanka, right? So first one, technological trends are there. Most age-old media trends have been transferred as new media trends, right? So now think about, for example, newspaper, radio and television. Most of the today's people, they are not reading newspapers, they are not listening to the radio. But what they have done, because of that, they have moved to new media trends. That means we can read newspapers through websites, no? So each and everyone can access those information, right? And if we now think about, if we turn on the YouTube, and if we need to watch the television, actually we now in those days, if we need to watch the television, we have to come to the home and we have to switch on. So like that way, there is a huge procedure, right? But now we can take our smart mobile phone and we can turn on the YouTube and we can watch that movie or teledrama or something like that, right? So what has happened? Because of this new technology, these kind of old media trends have have been transferred as new media trends. So you can remember that point as example. So what are the media outputs? That those are WhatsApp, Instagram, YouTube, those kind of thing. Okay, then you have IoT, that means Internet of Things. Each and every time you can access to the information or the your property, maybe your house, right? You can control all the things without going to that particular place. So that is IoT. Then you have analog technology linked to digital technology. For example, direct broadcasting, satellite and IPTV, cable television and the broadband. So these are the examples. And you have cloud computing and monomedia and multimedia. Okay, so these are the things that you need to remember under the technological trends. Then you have the second one, institutional trends. Okay, so that means as an institution they have followed some different techniques. So trends, so those are ownership and also provincial media personal, those kind of things. Now think about ownership means nowadays you can see private institutions, private ownerships, those kind of thing has increased and those state institutions decreases. Because why? Most of the time they are using these kind of media in order to make profits. But when we think about state institutions, they cannot make those kind of profit, and also they cannot publish truthful information because there are so many other parties and they try to avoid those things, right? So that is ownership. Then provincial media, so most of the time when we think about this ownership concept, so that is why they try to become separate from the state, right? Yes. Then the second one, provincial media. So you can see different provincial media are there in order to transmit the information, right? So for example, here you can see Jaffna having connected with provincial newspapers in order to transmit their regional necessities. Okay, so like that way there are radio stations, cable teleservices, like that way. So you can remember those things and you can search those things in the internet and find more information. And media persons, that means nowadays you can see there's no any particular person as the communicator, as the writer, as the reporter, right? Each and everyone can work. Okay, so those kind of trends are coming towards. And male female gender factor, nowadays you can see both of them are having equal rights, but when we think about the organizations, most of the time male they got the chance to get the decisions, right? So those kind of thing we can call as the institutional media trends. Then you have media regulation and you have editorial freedom, right? That means media regulation must be there, right? That means we have to regulate them. And editorial freedom, so as editor they need to have this freedom, otherwise what will happen if there is so many parties which can affect to that content, so that will be useless. Okay, so you need to remember that. Then you have content. So when we think about the content, you can see some examples like use of simple language, an increase in commercial advertisements, right? More emphasis on entertainment factor, right? The techniques of presentation and new ways of verbal expression. So use of simple language, they are using simple language in order to do this, in order to construct their content, because through that simple language usage they can reach to the common audience. Then you can see commercial advertisements. Now in the YouTube also you can see different varieties of commercial advertisements are there in different applications. In the mass media also you can see that trend. And yes, they are using different techniques to present their news or else their information in order to attract the audience, and also they are giving the more emphasis on entertainment factor. This also has become a trend. Okay, so these are the things that you need to remember. After that you need to remember this audience and recipient. Okay, so most of the time nowadays audience can affect to the media. Audience can audience can select their preferences. So then they can reject programs that they don't like. Okay, so those kind of thing you need to remember when we think about this 11th lesson. Okay, so first thing, this kind of beginning. After that you have media trends, right? After that media trends in Sri Lanka. Okay, so these are the things that you need to remember in this lesson.